Well,
Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Wow, there was lots of great announcements from the Toy Fair this last week. Some good looks at upcoming 6-inch Black Series figures. And of course we got to look at some of the figures that are coming out for the Vintage Collection line, 3 3/4 inch. As well as the hover tank. And also, I guess the big news was the announcement of the Jabba sail barge if they hit their 5,000 order mark by April 3rd. And definitely, if you don't know about that, you should go to HasbroLab.com to check that out. On to today's review, we're going to take a look at the 3 3/4 inch Lando Calrissian in Jabba Skiff Guard, Skiff Guard Disguise. Let's head to that table and check this out. And here's a look at Lando on the card, released in 1997 as part of the Power of the Force 2 line. It's the green card back. And then this version of the figure was later released also in the freeze frame collection. But what we have here, like I said, is that green card with the nice Star Wars Power of the Force logo on it. You get a good look at Lando Skiff Guard through the blister. And then on the left side, that photo is the hologram sticker that if you wanted to, you could peel off and reveal the color photo underneath. And on the back side, you got the index card size cutout photo of Lando Calrissian with a little bit of bio about him. And a handful of other figures and a couple vehicles that were also available at the time, along with a checklist of some others not shown in the photo. And looking at the figure out of the packaging, the costuming and the look of Lando as Skiff Guard is pretty well represented here, except of course that over-exaggerated muscular bulky look. It'd still be a couple years, I think, before the line kind of toned that down, slimmed the figures to more realistic proportions. Going in on the head area, though, I'll leave that helmet on first, even though I guess you could probably consider it more of an accessory, but nevertheless it's part of the look. The sculpting and design to the helmet looks pretty good, very well representative of what we saw in the movie. Obviously that face plastic is probably just a little too thick. It's more filled in than having those hollow bits here and there. Maybe a limit of the plastic technology at the time, I don't know. But anyways, you can definitely see the correct design to it. Little bits of white painted in there for whatever those parts are, maybe like bone teeth or something, but it's got a good paint job to it. You got a decent dark gray silverish painting to the brim of the helmet, and then also kind of that back edge area. For the top of the helmet, you got the main color of the plastic, which is that light tan color, with some dirt wash kind of thrown in on the top of the head for some little scuff marks and stuff. And removing the helmet, which just slides on and off the head pretty easily. Now we get a good look at the sculpt of Lando's head. You know, it's a decent resemblance. I wouldn't say it's exactly spot on, but I wouldn't say it's too far off either. I think definitely by looking at him, you can tell this is Lando. Decent sculpting to the hair. Eyebrows might be painted somewhat a little too high, but probably not really worth complaining about on that. Good paint job to the eyes, and the mustache is looking pretty good too. Probably a bit too big of a gap in the center of that stash there, I think. At the chest area and the arms, again, costume well represented here. You got the black clothing sculpted and painted on the arms, and then with these little kind of, it looks like a light gold painting maybe to these little armor bits on his shoulders and wrist area. Nice little hammered metal look to it. Sculpting to the hands, I'd say look a little huge. Holy cow, those are big hands. At the chest area itself, you got those black straps kind of holding all those armor pieces together with that tan undersuit. Everything's pretty well painted here, staying within the lines, which, you know, at that time was not a problem at all, I feel like. Everything was always pretty nicely painted. At the back side, those straps continue. Couple little, 3 little dots there is like some rivets kind of holding things in place for those straps. And then, of course, you do have some good lines sculpted on that undershirt. Through the waist area itself, of course, you see the belt painted in there. And also very curious the way they chose to do the crotch area. As you can see on the top sides of the legs, you got this little brown sticking out. And of course, the pant color is a very off-white, I suppose that would be, which doesn't match the centerpiece at all. Unfortunately, really kind of detracts from that. But as it rotates around to the back side, you can see on the center back area of it, they did choose to give them that little brown part sticking down on that centerpiece. Obviously, it just did not match the pants, though, with that color. So it's weird that they chose to do that on the back, but not the front to carry that look through. Otherwise, though, pants, like I said, kind of an off-white color, very light tan maybe. Does have some nice wash in there, making it look like they're nice and dirty and stuff. Good sculpting otherwise to the wrinkling of the fabric. And then, of course, you got your boots sculpted and painted in there. Again, some straps for the boots just above the edge of the boot itself. All painted nicely, no problems there. And then they even painted some black on the soles of the shoes as well. As far as articulation, things, of course, were pretty basic at the time, so you're just going to get your head swiveling side to side. And you do get your swiveling with the arms up and down, so no problems there. And then as for the waist area, he's got some swiveling in there, so that's pretty nice to have. And then, of course, both legs do bend forward, and they come pretty much straight out. And they really don't go back. I wouldn't call that going back. And then for his accessory, aside from the helmet, like I said, you could kind of call that an accessory. But anyways, here's a look at the force pike. Pretty good sculpting to it. I like the design. Obviously, you can see the lines molded in there. You can definitely tell what it is with this little axe on the one end and, you know, little bits and stuff holding it in. And then you got a couple designs molded into the handle area of this force pike, just to kind of give it some look, some dimension. So overall, things are looking pretty good there. I do wish this piece was a little bit longer, because as you can see, as he's standing there holding it, it just doesn't touch the ground. I mean, it's not a huge deal. I probably never gave much thought to it anyways. But otherwise, it does fit nicely in either hand. And then, of course, since he doesn't have any other articulation, you can't really give him an action pose or anything. So it's just standing at attention with this force pike. So overall, I think it's a pretty decent looking figure. Obviously, at the time, like I said, the figures were very muscular, so that's what we had here. And as time has gone on, we've gotten better releases of this figure. But like I said, for the time, I think this is a pretty decent looking figure. And so that wraps up this look at Lando Calrissian and Skiff Gueard Disguise. I'd love to know what your thoughts are in this figure in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.